Why don't you we're an hour and a half into the show.
Yeah.
We've gotten texts about, you guys are talking about wrestling and the Warriors have the biggest game. So why don't you tell people, you came in today and said, hey, Steiny, why don't we talk about this? I said, you know what? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, let's throw that one out there. I think that's good. So go ahead.
It was, this is the most important Warrior game of the season. I mean, there were times, to me, I thought
that's not it. Like, you're not, there's no debate here. It's the biggest game of the year. It was the other topic.
But that came out of my mouth to tell the people.
Right, but this was maybe a better topic.
Oh, if you were Steve Kerr, who do you trust? Who do you trust the most? I feel like we already have those answers, but I guess, Donnie, the rat on the table brought to you by Atco, and don't forget this text I'm going to read I got, is who concerns you the most going into the playoffs, and I think we kind of discussed him right now just because of his injury and his play last night, and that can all evaporate tonight. But, Stoney, that is a big deal if this team is going to go on what we deem a run. Jonathan Kuminga's injury kind of threw him off, too.
I think it's a fair question because I think there's going to be three instances where that question's going to be answered. If you're Steve Kerr, who do you trust in terms of this team and this rotation? And I think, to me, the choices are like, who do you trust? Gary Payton II or Moody? I think he's going with Gary Payton II. I think, and that's
the right one to me too. Would you say the same?
So yeah, okay. I mean, Payton's ahead right now of Moody in the rotation.
Got you.
I think the other one that the two other ones that we're going to find out about are obviously Kuminga and Wiggins. I think maybe he may have to make a choice with one or the other there, and then we find out who he trusts more. And I think the answer is Wiggins. But then there's a third one that and it might, and I get it. Trayce Jackson-Davis is going to start. But is there any circumstance in which he leans toward Looney?
No doubt.
Once the playoffs start, we get into big games. They're playing Draymond at 5 more, and he looks down the bench and sees Looney and Trayce Jackson-Davis, and he just goes, hey, Looney. I don't know.
Well, and I'm not going to make this about me or a victory lap in that. Stoney, Kevon Looney has 3 rings. He's done a lot.
What would be your victory lap?
That I said Looney has not done when everybody was like, oh, he can't play or whatever. And Steve Kerr, to his credit, has said, even a couple of weeks ago, Looney's not playing, but that doesn't mean he won't be an option come go time. Well, you are about to face some bigs.
He'll be an option, but he'll be the third option.
Okay.
And so if
TJD were to get into 2 quick fouls, which,
then he'll play 4 minutes.
No doubt.
But if unless there's a monkey wrench thrown in.
Well, do you trust Kevon Looney? I do. With everything I have.
The question is, do you trust him more than Trayce Jackson-Davis? That's the question. We all trust Looney. The question is, if you start Trayce Jackson-Davis and then Draymond plays 5 when Trayce Jackson-Davis goes off the floor, is there a time with 8 minutes to go in the game, you realize, you know what, for whatever reason, we can't play Draymond at 5 right now. Maybe Jokic is in the game or somebody like that. Do you think that he might lean on Looney in a high-leverage situation?
I'm going to say yes to that.
Because he seemed listen, when I went to the Bulls game, after they beat the Bucks, I asked Steve Kerr about Looney, and he said, you said Looney wasn't going to play much, but he played last night or he played tonight, and he said that's because Trayce Jackson-Davis got into early foul trouble, and he knew that he was going to need a player for 6 minutes, and that's why he went to Looney off the bench. But ordinarily, if that doesn't happen, Looney's not going to get, if under normal circumstances, Looney will not get in the game unless Trayce Jackson-Davis is not effective
or foul trouble. Yeah.
So, he's kind of the only reason he played last night was because Draymond didn't play. So the question is, you think he would rely on Looney in high leverage situations?
Well, there's a part of me that says Stoney, he has no choice, but I'm totally with you.
No,
if you get in that foul trouble, Looney's got to go out there.
But I'm saying, what if there's no foul trouble?
I still think we see some of Looney, Stoney.
What about you got 7 minutes left in a game, and you're in game 2 against any team? Okay. Pick a team in the playoffs.
Denver.
All I'm wondering about is, when Steve Kerr looks down the bench and says, okay, I got a choice between Looney and Trayce Jackson-Davis, will the pull of the past kind of make him go to Looney in a really high leverage situation?
I'm being so real with you, partner. I gotta believe yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that though. I wouldn't, because I think this season has taken on a bigger picture. And if you do find your way into a 7-game series, then I got to have Podziemski and Trayce Jackson-Davis getting as much experience in that series as possible.
And they both have earned that, and I just want to stop there with Trayce Jackson-Davis, Donnie, because I'm ready to tell the world, I believe one of the biggest differences in this Warrior team and my confidence level, he had 4 last night. I don't remember a guy, I don't want to call it Steffortless or effortless, but it's just a part of his game, the ability to block shots. And when Looney's down there, it's like he has cement in his shoes and getting up ain't his thing. So if there's another big or guard coming in there, they were either going to miss the shot, but the shot was going to get off. Now, all of a sudden, Stoney, it's not every time I'm watching a Warrior game where I feel like it's JaVale McGee or Bogut on a good day. There's rim protection. And I don't think Jackson Davis is getting his just due for his ability to block shots.
What about his ability to guard your favorite player, DeAndre Ayton, who had, how many you have last night, 25?
Yeah, 27, I believe.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and I'm not, see, you're taking it somewhere else. I'm just saying, when I see guards flying through there, oh, it's the Warriors blue jersey, I'm going to score if I'm a guard. Now all of a sudden it's like, get it out of here. And that just does wonders. And last night, again, another ho-hum night for TJD, but 4 blocks, Donnie.
Yeah.
So we didn't get that from Looney is all that I'm saying.
I will say this about last night's game.
Give it to me.
That game
I
was
hated
the farthest thing from a playoff game that you'll ever see in your entire life.
You think the Warriors were flat?
You think they, like, and I get it, they didn't play 3 guys. Yeah. But
I still think
you think Kuminga can play that way in a postseason? If he plays that way in the postseason, he would have gotten yanked in a playoff game last night.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
Made an effort to give him those minutes. He got 34, but you are right.